So you want to get what you want every time? William Ury and Roger Fisher are the founders of Harvard Negotiation Project, and they co-wrote the book Getting to Yes. Now, when it comes to negotiation, it's important to remember one thing. It's not about splitting things 50-50, insisting on your way, or forcing a win-lose scenario. In fact, if you're asking who's winning, then you've already lost. So, what is negotiation about then? Let me show you through a few examples and you'll see what negotiation truly is about. 1. The window in the library. Two men are arguing in a library. One wants the window open for the fresh air, while the other wants it closed to avoid the wind blowing his papers. What do? Do you leave the window half open, a little open, or completely closed? The librarian listens to both men, and instead of splitting the difference, she goes into another room and opens the window there, bringing in fresh air without disturbing the papers. Both sides are happy, and the problem is solved. This is negotiation, finding a solution where both sides win without hurting the relationship. 2. The cake split. Now let's say two people want to share a cake, but they can't agree on how to divide it fairly. No matter how you cut it, they will both complain that the other person got a bigger piece. What do? Here is a simple trick. Ask one person to cut the cake and the other person chooses first. Since the person cutting the cake knows that the other person picks first, they'll divide it evenly to avoid getting the smaller piece. Problem solved and both are happy. 3. The orange dilemma. Lastly, two kids are arguing over an orange. The parent cuts it in half, giving each child 50%. One child eats the fruit, throwing the peel away, while the other uses the peel to bake a cake and throws away the fruit. If the parent had asked what each child wanted the orange for, both could have gotten 100% of what they wanted, instead of just 50. As you can see, negotiation isn't about compromise. It's about finding a solution where both sides get to where they truly want. So how do you negotiate like this? Let's dive into a 4-step framework that will make you a master negotiator. Step 1. Focus on interests, not positions. Remember the library window example? When we argue about positions, we limit ourselves. Instead, if we focus on the underlying interests, the reasons behind the positions, we can find better solutions. For example, the man wanting the window closed wasn't against fresh air, just against wind blowing his papers. The other man wanted fresh air, not an open window per se. When you focus on interests, you can find creative solutions. So, how do you find the interests of the other side? Simple. Ask why. Why do they want what they want? Understand their perspective. When you show your care about their interests, they are more likely to listen to yours. Step 2. Use fair standards. Imagine you want lower rent, but your landlord wants higher rent. Instead of arguing back and forth, use objective criteria to guide the conversation. In the cake example, one person cuts and the other chooses. That's an objective standard. So, how can you apply this? Let's say you're negotiating a construction contract, and there is no specified depth for foundations. Instead of arguing about what you think is fair, refer to the government's construction standards. This shifts the focus from personal opinions to neutral criteria. Step 3. Invent options for mutual gain. The key to successful negotiation is to brainstorm together and come up with solutions that benefit both sides. In the orange example, both kids could have gotten exactly what they wanted if the parent had asked about their individual needs. So, how do you invent options? Get together and brainstorm all possible solutions, no matter how unconventional. The more ideas you have, the more likely you'll find mutual beneficial solution. Step 4. Separate the people from the problem. Negotiation isn't about just solving the problem. It's about keeping relationships intact. Before you even start negotiating, visualize a line down the middle of the person and the problem. The person is separate from the problem, and you should treat them as such. By being soft on the person and hard on the problem, You avoid damaging relationships. You may be dealing with someone's emotions or ego, and it's easy to get caught up in that. Instead, focus on the problem and keep your cool. Step 5. Dealing with difficult situations. What if the other side uses dirty tactics? What if they're more powerful, or if they attack you personally? Here's how to deal with each situation. Dirty tactics. If you recognize dirty tactics, call them out. For example, you could say, "It feels like you're using the good cop, bad cop strategy here." Calling out the tactic takes away its power. Power imbalance. If the other side holds more power, don't try to fight fire with fire. Instead, develop your BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Know your alternatives before negotiating so you're not stuck with a bad deal. Personal attacks. If they attack you personally, sidestep it. Instead of defending yourself, ask why they feel that way, or invite their advice. Asking, "If you were in my shoes, what would you do?" shifts the focus back to the problem. In 1964, an American father and his 12-year-old son were playing frisbee in Hyde Park, London. A crowd gathered as they tossed the frisbee back and forth, and a man approached them. "Who's winning?" he asked. The father responded, "We're not playing to win. We're playing to have fun." Negotiating is much like that. It's not about the winning or losing. It's about working together to find a solution that satisfies both sides. Next time you're negotiating, focus on interest. Use fair standards, brainstorm options, and separate the people from the problem. What's the last negotiation you've been in? Did you focus on interest or positions? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. See you next time.